Hello, my name is Jordan, and I have never done anything like this before. Um, I don't know how to even make a video. I am using my iPhone 12 Pro. You might be able to hear my dog in the background, and I'm honestly just gonna talk. Um, I don't really know how to edit videos, so maybe that's part of why I'm just gonna talk and not think about it that much. But I wanted to talk today about something that's been on my mind, and I want to tie it into lifeguarding. I was a lifeguard from the age of 16 through like 23. And for the first few years of me doing it, on the outside, if someone watched me do it, they would probably say I was doing a good job. Like I kept getting promoted. I kept having people tell me I was doing a good job. And I personally thought I was doing a good job. Now, flash forward to a few years in, I'm in college and I finally have to deal with an emergency where I had to do the Heimlich maneuver on a child. And I did some things right, I did some things wrong, and it was scary. And that really shook me up. The kid was fine, but it really shook me up. And the more I thought about it, the older I got, truly. I kind of realized what had been happening. And not only was it, my own hubris, but where I was working was not requiring us to do in-service. So we weren't training. Because of COVID, the pandemic, the American Red Cross made certifications last, I believe, a year longer. So I hadn't done a cert/research course for 3 years at the point of this happening to me and the child I was helping. So there was a lot of failures there. And partly it was on me as well, because, for lack of better terms, I thought I was the shit, and I was not. And I think about this a lot because it really does remind me of the journey I've been taking. I'm sure some people are gonna watch this and be like, oh God, here she's talking about this again. But truly, it has made me think about my journey from, being, I suppose, what some people would call liberal, to something more. I don't give myself any labels. I truly couldn't tell you what I am. I know what I believe. I know what I stand for. And I know it is on the left. Okay. But it reminds me a lot of when I would post something on social media and be like, did you guys see this? Oh my God, outrage. And don't get me wrong, that is absolutely, getting information out there is important. It is a very important thing to do. But if that is where your activism is ending, that's not transformative. That's not taking all of that rage that you feel and pushing it towards something that's actually tangible and changeable. And like I said, I am not cutting this. I am not editing this. Sorry if this isn't, I'm kind of all over the place. I am not a paragon, okay? Truly, you should probably just look at revolutionaries from the past But at the end of the day, I do think I have something valuable to say. So anyway, I thought I was the shit politically as well, where I thought if I just, believed that, being mad that something was happening was enough. But the more things are happening, sorry, like I said, not cutting it. And if me getting emotional talking about the state of the world happens, God, we're rolling with it. But I know you guys see it. Like, you ask people how they are, and everyone has that like glazed over look in their eye. None of us are doing good. And that is also coming from a place of a lot of privilege. I literally have a house, well, not a house, in this economy, but I have access to food and clean water, and I have a place over my head, and I have some wonderful people around me, and the gas prices and emotional turmoil from everything going on are, as far as I am, I suppose, suffering through at the end of the day. I know there's people who are dealing with a whole lot more. But yeah, none of us, you feel it, So I think about lifeguarding, how I thought it was the shit. I think about back then when I didn't know very much, but I had the spirit. I was like, I think people deserve water. I think people deserve food. I believe people deserve a roof over their head. And just the more I learn, this is real. And that sounds so dumb of me to say, but you can't sugarcoat what's happening. I think about Delaney Hall. And I know there are people out there who are gonna say I might be being dramatic, but I don't have to read you the dictionary definition of a concentration camp to know that that's what it is. And at the end of the day, I'm just asking myself, what are we doing? And I keep rolling it over in my head. It feels like every day I have another moment of the little girl clutching her neck like this, and I'm hit with a reality. And I, at the end of the day, hope you do too. Because I don't want to do this alone. I don't think any of us want to do this alone. Sorry. Maybe I will splice 2 videos together and figure it out. Okay. I have returned. I am mildly composed. And I don't care if I catch any flack about being emotional about this, because I don't view my emotions as something as inferior. I think it allows me to see the world in a very different point of view, and I'm okay with that. And I think it's necessary. And anyway, something else I wanted to touch on, kind of related to my lifeguarding experience, was after all of this happened, I actually really dedicated myself to being, apologies for the sniffing, like I said, I'm an emotional person, and that's okay. But, you know, after the thing happened where I realized, oh God, this is real. I'm dealing with real people. I could save a life here. And it really made me put it into perspective. So I practiced a lot. I trained a lot. It got to the point where I actually even was a lifeguard instructor. And, you know, I took it very seriously to the point of it leading me to a lot of burnout because it is a stressful job. You are potentially saving someone's life for minimum wage and dealing with other minimum wage employees who most likely feel like they are the shit, aka little Jordan, you know, when she was younger, when they are not. And it is scary to be the one that people trust. It got to the point where anything would happen down to a nosebleed and people would turn to me and be like, Jordan, what do we do? It is scary. It was a scary job. I'm not gonna lie. And maybe people will call that dramatic, but I digress. But it got to the point where, because we were so short-staffed all the time, like lifeguarding is a chronically understaffed job. I don't know if that's just an America thing, but I have been feeling that since about 2020 when the pandemic hit. There has been a lifeguard shortage, point blank, period. And sometimes I would go a whole shift where I would, you know, finally get down from the stand and have to do XYZ chores. And then I would be like, okay, finally I get a chance to go to the bathroom or eat my food. And then I would have to like clean up blood splotches I found on the floor randomly, something like that. But the worst thing that would happen was when someone would come to me for help, like they got an injury or they needed help, and I would feel myself get frustrated. And I, you know, the second I started noticing that in myself, I felt a lot of guilt. I felt a lot of shame. I felt a lot of rage, that I was even being put in that position to where my fellow person asking me for help was pissing me off. And I can't live that way anymore. And I'm sure you feel the same. I will tell people, you know, the types of things that I'm toying around in my mind all the time, because it is inherently also political right now. And I am often met with people telling me, oh, you're too online, which there's something to be said, of course, about being on social media a lot. And that there needs to be a balance, and there needs to be, you need to learn what is valuable to take and what is not, and what is, anyway, I want to get back to my point. But I am often met with people telling me that I need to cool it. I'm, you know, focusing on too much. And I can't take it anymore, because I know it is coming from a place of people just wanting to keep their head down, wanting to survive through the day. And they feel like they can't pay attention to the things going on right now. But we need to get things done. I don't know how else to say this. We need to take care of each other. We need to actively notice that this system is making us frustrated with each other and point at each other rather than at the people who are causing all of the problems. Rich people. Here, let me rephrase. You know, I'm not going to get into that right now. You know what I'm trying to say. we are being run by a bunch of elites that are pitting us against each other, rather than us being like, wait, there's a whole lot more of us than there are of them. Why are they making us hate each other for absolute nothing burgers? Like, what is this? What are we doing? And I cannot keep living this way. You cannot keep living this way. I don't want anyone to keep living this way. We cannot keep just putting our heads down, shuffling through the day, immediately averting our eyes when we see something on Instagram. And it sucks. It sucks. Point blank. It sucks to be scrolling and you go from like, haha, funny video, I'm enjoying my downtime, to a video of a starving child in a country that the US is bombing. Sorry, I don't know what else to say there. We need to be able to be there for each other, and we need to fight the system that is making us feel this way toward each other, because our trajectory is not sustainable. So I keep thinking about how little lifeguard Jordan thought she was the shit, and how now she keeps being confronted with, for lack of better terms, truth bombs, reality. And I keep thinking about burnt out Jordan, which she's still here. She's standing right in front of you right now. But burnt out lifeguard Jordan, who could not stand when someone with an injury would come in. And I refuse to live that way anymore. I am going to consciously go against that, and I hope you will do it with me.